The world is bright for those who take advantage of what the software can do.
Carlo.
Angelo.
Great to see you.
Great to see you.
Welcome to the Algoriddim office in Munich, Germany. We first met a few years ago, and it seems since then a lot has changed in your career. It's really escalated, and now you're a huge presence online.
Well, first of all, thank you for the amazing intro. I don't see myself as like a big influence, but to get that compliment from one of my biggest influences in life is you. So thank you very much, Angelo, for that. So before, I would call myself a battle DJ, a DJ's DJ. But now, I call myself a YouTuber-DJ.
Right. And that's quite a big change in disciplines, understanding about lighting, cameras, editing.
Goodness me.
Describe that transition, because I'm sure it wasn't easy.
Well, I think DJs by heart are just geeks who are interested in technology and in hardware.
Yeah, facts.
And we come from the world of sound, so to transition to the world of images and video, I think that sort of comes natural now, especially with the advent of social media like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, etc. DJing, once you reach a certain level, can get a bit boring and monotonous. But once I got into video, a whole new world of inspiration just came rushing in my head, and I felt so compelled to get more into the hobby of understanding lighting and understanding frames per second and understanding cameras. It became, I don't know, a second life for my creative career. Certainly when I started, I took inspiration from you, from Elliskins, from Digital DJ Tips, from TLM, from DJ City, from Mojax, from DJ Tech Tools, from Shortcut, everyone, Shifty, Qbert. There was like a plethora of videos online. And I was like, okay, that's great. These are so many amazing DJs. How do I, this new kid in the block, separate myself from everyone else out there? So I learned from the best, and I was like, okay, maybe it's time to put more cinematography in. Maybe it's time to put more motion graphics in, because that's what interests me. And by applying all these sorts of sources of knowledge into my videos, I certainly believe I created a different format or a different level of quality of expectation for DJ videos, at least how I like to think of it.
And you've described to me that YouTube is addictive. Making content is addictive. Can you explain what do you mean by that?
All right, okay. For the people watching, we're all DJs here, right? So what feels the best as a DJ is making the crowd happy, playing that perfect song at the perfect time and seeing them bounce and just undulate with joy. That's a great feeling. One of the best feelings in the world. And as DJs, we're
chasing
we're blessed also to have that opportunity to get those feelings. And for some reason, I get that same feeling of enjoyment when I post a video and it does well. Gets 1,000 views, gets so much positive feedback, and it's addictive because you never really know when a video is gonna do well. Like, you can produce it the best as you can market it the best as you can, but you never really know. And sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. Just like when you play a song for an audience, sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
So I get that same feeling.
There's parallels between the two different disciplines.
With making videos for YouTube.
Right. So even someone at your level is never sure if a video is going to work. But what would your tips be to give a piece of content the best chance of going viral?
What I've seen work with my channel, probably it's tutorials on breaking down the greats. Like, again, yourself, other DJs like James Hype, Laidback Luke, Afrojack, Avicii, Martin Garrix. Because I think when I started DJing, what worked for me in the learning process was emulating others. You and Qbert and all these amazing DJs. So I figured that if I could break someone's style down, that'll help any beginner become or reach the level they want to reach. People want to be like Martin Garrix. How does he DJ? There's none of that on YouTube until I came in and started, dissecting his style.
That's something you've started to do quite often. You even did one of my routines and broke it down. And I was flattered, of course. That's an awesome thing to do, to give beginners a chance to learn something and be like an idol. Other people might argue it's giving away someone's style and creation, and then everyone's going to copy and become replicas. So how would you debate that?
I love that question.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, everything we do is a sort of manifestation of someone else's style. You could argue that open format DJing was popularized by DJ AM, but AM could argue that, Z-Trip inspired him. The list goes on, and everyone's sort of inspired by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a battle of originality, but I don't think everyone is like completely original.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has different influences. So to an extent, it's bad to completely copy, but it's also good if you put yourself in that style, like put your unique stamp into your own style.
So obviously DJing has become a lot easier to get into since the old days of having to buy vinyl, having to buy expensive gear, and there was a lot less resources to learn. And nowadays, thanks to people like Algoriddim, we've got amazing technology, an app that's very accessible. What's your thoughts on where DJing is going?
Well, for one thing, I think DJs in general will be a lot of people now. What Algoriddim has done is crazy because they've made DJing so approachable. Like, I had to buy a controller to start DJing. But nowadays, people can just download an app and start DJing right then and there. And that for me is insane, because not only is that making DJing more available for people, but people are now DJing with a really good app that can do incredible things like DVS and remove acapellas and remove instrumentals. Like back in our day, we didn't have that.
No.
So the world is bright for those who take advantage of what the software can do.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of DJs now, they just do the simple stuff, and that's okay.
Sure.
But it would be so cool to see someone who does more and truly takes advantage of what is available with the technology.
Absolutely. There are people who embrace it and love it. I'm a fan of technology, as you are, but there are also those who like to treasure the past and the roots, and possibly are pessimistic about how technology is changing the craft.
I understand their perspective. Mm-hmm. They grew up in a different time,
mm-hmm.
And we have also grown up in a different time. But the times are changing, man. People are changing. People's wants and needs are changing. Mm-hmm. And it's important to adapt with their wants and desires. Yeah, it's cool to play vinyl and to just focus on limited
skills.
cue points
Yeah.
and old laptops and old technology. That's great and all, but it's good to be a geek and to play and dabble with new tech and to try to make your sets more creative than you could ever do. So to those old guys who are watching these videos, I would say, give it a shot, man. DJ is free. You might like Neural Mix, you might like DVS, you might like these effects. Mm-hmm. Give it a shot before you say no. Yeah. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. But hey, at least you can say you gave it a shot.
Right. And vinyl's not going away anytime soon either.
No way, it's always coming in.
Yeah.
It's leaving, it's coming back in, it's leaving, it's coming back in. And that's the beauty of music.
Right. You also spoke to me about different influences outside of the DJ space, because now you're more of a content creator. So who's influenced you in that respect?
Wow, a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers. Of course, I would say Casey Neistat inspired me. Mr. Beast inspires me. Peter McKinnon inspires me. All these guys and these. 100% a big inspiration. MKBHD. He is the man. Mm-hmm. So I grew up watching these guys, so I couldn't help but absorb their style as well. And watching these guys progress in their career, seeing how they not only make quality content but evolve their content, it motivates me to do the same as well. Because we can't keep stagnant forever. Right. And adapting is the key to success.
And on that topic, what do you think the DJ space is lacking in terms of content? Because we have a lot of content, but what do you think we still need, or what areas are we not tapping into?
DJs are everywhere, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. And it's almost to an extent that it's getting pretty saturated. So what's missing is probably someone who can make turntable DJing even more recognized and appreciated by the general audience. Yes, we have DJs who do turntable mashups and wordplay and tone play. And yes, I try to be that DJ to sort of make turntablism more approachable, and you two did as well. But like, there has to be a kid out there, someone out there, crazy kid, someone who can actually bring that art form to another level. There was a time that turntablism was frowned upon. Like, people were like, "Ew, don't do that, don't juggle, it's noisy, I just want to dance and party." But nowadays, when people see turntables on a vertical video, people are like, "Whoa, that's cool, that's so unique." Because it's funny to see how people prefer watching videos that use turntables over videos of kids using small controllers. It's crazy, and I feel that's evident of content creation, of videos out there. It's finally, I feel like the pain that we've been going through for these years is finally paying off. People are getting interested, and that's great.
And what's unique about you is that, as opposed to me, who started with turntables, you didn't, and you ended up with turntables. So talk to me about how you started and the struggles.
Well, I picked up DJing seriously in 2017, and at that time I was in university. So affording turntables and getting gear and buying software and all that jazz was something that was pretty difficult for me. I couldn't go up to my dad and be like, "Hey dad, can I get like this $2,000 pair of turntables, please?" Nah, the focus at that time, as any student should be, is studying. So of course he said no.
Especially any Asian kid.
Any Asian kid. It's very important, very important. So I had to get the cheapest thing that worked. And at the time it was controllers. And that's how I started. Eventually, I got a bit of money through working hard and sacrificing good meals to afford my own pair of turntables. I started with one turntable, then one mixer, then another turntable. And that's how it began.
Wow. And we actually first met at a Rebel 3-Star World Final. You weren't competing, but you were there, and you made a big splash in that battle a few years prior as a finalist in Azerbaijan and came third in the world. What did you learn from that experience, and what did you learn in like the aftermath?
When Red Bull 3-Star was announced in my country, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna give Red Bull 3-Star everything I've got. And if I fail, I'll take it as a sign to quit DJing forever and just pursue a more reliable and stable career. And so I said goodbye to my boss and went to my room and just stayed there for days and days, working on routines, working on my skills, and working to be a better DJ. Eventually I worked my butt off, won the Philippines, began to realize, hey, this is great. If I win the Worlds, I'll probably have a good DJ career.
Right, you think so, right?
You would think so. So then we went to the Worlds and I got third place, and I was like, hey, that ain't so bad. I did pretty well.
Yeah.
And I was expecting to come home as a king, but to my disappointment, I didn't get any gigs at all. In fact, I had even less gigs. No one wanted to book me, and it was very disheartening. And so in 2015, not a lot of people know this, but I joined again, and I came in last place.
Quite a fall from grace.
Huge.
How did that hit you?
Devastated me, man. You know, you spend 1 year working on something to see it just fail and flop in your face. It was one of the worst times in my life. So I looked back at what inspired me. Your videos from other DJs, and I was like, you know, maybe it's time to actually do these exhibition videos, and that's what I did. And probably by the third or fourth month, one of them became a big hit. It was a routine with Roses by the Chainsmokers, and that routine was released on Facebook. Eventually, the Chainsmokers themselves picked it up and shared it. And this is at the time when the Chainsmokers were the biggest pop stars in the industry.
I remember.
And suddenly, I got the recognition that I've been dying for. People started calling me, emailing me, and booking me. And just by like within a week, my whole year was booked.
Wow, from one video.
Just from one video.
Wow. So content really changed your career. It's a way to get seen by everyone in the world potentially, right? So what's your advice to people who are trying to make it as a DJ who perhaps don't think content is that important and it's more about how you DJ party to party?
Well, to an extent, that is a noble and honorable belief. I certainly believe that way for a long, long time. But competition is getting stiff, man. You can't just rely on your skills alone. And when you become a DJ, you become more than just a guy who plays music. You have to be a marketer of yourself. You have to be a businessman. You have to sort of know how to navigate through social media. To be a networker, you have to be all these hats and all these positions that being a DJ is more like being an entrepreneur.
A CEO.
A CEO of oneself. And with the advent of technology, it would be unwise to not take advantage of every opportunity if you put yourself out there.
I know the work that goes into what you do, and I also wear a lot of hats in the industry. But for people who don't know like what it's really like to be a one-man band doing all these things, can you give people an insight into juggling all these different roles?
All I really do every day is write, edit, and shoot. My style of editing is very motion graphics heavy. So that takes the longest time. So every day is really just spent editing. And what I feel is certainly my strength in this is that I enjoy it. And it feels good to put it out and to see people say, wow.
It's all paying off as well. I'm sure you're going to be at 1 million subscribers before we know it. So what can we expect from you in the future in terms of content, and what are your hopes for you and your overall brand?
Right now I'm based in the Philippines, but eventually I'm going to move to the States and hopefully meet new people, get new opportunities, work with different brands. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to grow my career even further there, because if there's one thing that I learned from being a YouTuber DJ in an isolated country like the Philippines is that you can only get so far by being a one-man team. For a long time, I think you and I have also thought that, you know what, F this, I'm gonna be the lone wolf in the industry and I'm gonna work by myself and I'm gonna make it there and I'm gonna prove everyone wrong. It's all gonna be me, it's me.
I think a lot of DJs have the nature of protecting what they have, and because it's tough out there, it's competitive. But to scale and make it a real business, you need more people, right?
Yeah, and that is something that I'm trying to learn nowadays, because as you know, 2014, 2015, isolation was my answer to everything. And now I'm realizing that, no, it's not. It's meeting people, making friends. And that's the goal, and that is the way.
All right, so final question. If someone is also serious about making it as a DJ in today's climate, possibly following in your footsteps, they want to blow up and they want to become a success as soon as possible, what are your tips?
Well, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're doing it wrong.
Okay.
When I say that, I mean learn from everyone, but apply yourself in everything you do as well. Put your unique voice, your unique stamp in every piece of content you release. Because the world is big, there's so many eyes out there, and if you can just sort of make one fan happy, that can explode and hopefully become a bushfire for more fans to sort of join in and enjoy your content.
Awesome. Carlo,
DJ Angelo.
it's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Good luck with everything.